The Trek Geeks Podcast Network is proud to have Fansets as its presenting sponsor. Fansets is the home of amazing pin collectibles with over 400 officially licensed Star Trek pins and new releases every month.
Stay tuned for a special discount code worth 10% off your next order at fansets.com. Fansets. Our pins have character.
The return of an old nemesis, an old face in a different place, and another old face looking, well, older than we're used to. We've been waiting a long time, and the time is almost here, so get ready to break reality with us. I'm Mike Bovia, and this is Discovering Trek Picard. Thanks for joining us on Discovering Trek, the Star Trek Universe companion, presented by Fansets. So we don't have a lot to go on so far, but we have seen a trailer that probably raises a lot more questions as to where this season of Picard is going to take us. To do that, like the La Sirena, we have a motley crew to evaluate and break down each episode. So to begin with, our first set of hosts we actually got as a package deal, and we wouldn't have it any other way. So absent from this episode is Fran Taylor from the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast, but we also have Tamia Harper and Subrina Wood. Ladies, how are you this evening? We're happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Doing great. Happy to be here.
I'm gonna give you a whoop whoop. Yep. We're really happy to be here.
Well, what's up?
We are really excited to have, I'm not going to say a diverse crowd because that's not what I'm thinking. What I'm really thinking is how crazy this show is going to be with all of us on here, because that is really my thoughts. When we all came together in Vegas, I knew it was a match made in some kind of asylum. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. So also joining us as a guest is, well, not as a guest, one of our co-hosts. I have to apologize for that. From Deep Space Pride, we have Mike Thurlow, and Mike joining us from New York. How's it going?
What's up, everybody? It's great to be here.
And then my co-host on the Divine Treasury, hailing from 10 minutes down the road from me, Jamie Rogers. Hey, Jamie. And I see a stack of crap next to you that will be on a future episode of the Divine Treasury, I'm sure.
Yeah, I figured I had to get into the Picard mode and just pick up my collection of 1988 Galoob Star Trek The Next Generation figures. So that's what I'm touting tonight.
Ooh, channeling Next Gen. All right.
So talking about Next Gen, I thought we could get into, essentially this is our introduction to anyone who's going to be listening to Discovering Trek. This is what the lineup is going to be for Discovering Trek Picard. So Subrina, Tamia, and Fran will be rotating whenever their schedule allows them to be on at each time. But I don't know. I kind of like having a couple of you, or even three of you, when we all met. That was a lot of fun.
That's what you say now.
Hey, I deal with chaos for work, so I can handle anything, I think.
Handle things. Dumb.
Did you hear that, Subrina? Sounds like a challenge, baby.
I was going to say, I think I might have just thrown down the challenge there.
We'll be good. We'll be good. We're ready. You watch.
Well, this group was the best part of Star Trek It wasn't Star Trek Las Vegas. Las Vegas.
Right. The 55-year mission.
In Thrall we trust.
Do not.
Let's not even.
I know that. I know Thrall has a special place in your heart, MT.
Oh no.
So Jamie talked about the next generation. So I think a few years back when season 1 came out, I think a lot of people were kind of expecting that to maybe be like a season 8 of the next generation. So I'm going to ask all of you right now, what was your overall opinion on season 1? And then if you want to throw in there what you're looking forward to or hoping for from season 2. And let's see, as I look at my screen, well, I'll throw it to Mike right away. He's in the top corner of my screen.
Oh, wow.
Nothing like putting you on the spot.
Yeah, right. No, I really enjoyed season 1 of Picard. There are definitely some really great moments. I think the general consensus of everyone is that Nepenthe is probably the best episode of the season. A lot of nostalgia there. But yeah, it was really great to see this new crew come together. And honestly, like when I was thinking about this, talking about this today, I thought, you know what, I will follow Jean-Luc Picard anywhere for anything. And this show has a definitively different tone than Discovery. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. So as Johnson and I talk on Deep Space Pride, there's a lot of drama, a lot of tears on Discovery, right? Mm-hmm. And the tears on Picard are more emotion, like a different kind of tears. They're like nostalgia tears, like seeing Troy and Riker, and even in the trailer, seeing Guinan. Like who doesn't tear up a little bit to see Whoopi Goldberg? So I am really excited for season 2. Season 1, I really enjoyed, and if you recall, that's sort of, for me, that's when my Star Trek podcasting journey started. When Johnson and I started talking about Picard, we would text, and then it became a podcast that we started to do on our own, and then I reached out to Bill and Dan, and that's how we became part of the Trek Geeks podcast network. So that really has a place in it for me. But also, the end of season 1 of Picard coincided with the beginning of COVID lockdown here in New York City. So definitely a lot of emotional ties to that. My first intro to Star Trek was the original series, but the Next Generation and Jean-Luc Picard and the crew are sort of my crew. Like even that's what I grew up watching from I was 13, I think, in 1987, right? Yeah, roughly. So maybe 14, but I was Wesley's age, essentially. Will Wheaton and I are contemporaries. So this show and the characters in it mean a lot to me. They are really important, and I hope we get to see more. I'm really excited about Guinan. I have to say, Q is great as a villain, but the chaos is gonna come, and actually I think Mariner deals with Q the best. Like, no, we ain't got time for that shit. Right. So
shut up, get out of here.
Yeah, go away. Go bother Picard in his vineyard. I think she says so. John Delancey is an amazing actor and looks great for his age. Both he and Patrick Stewart look great. So, but I think overall, I'm really excited about Guinan. I'm really excited. I hope we get to see some more next gen
legacy characters.
I think, especially being a reader of the novels, I think that I really want to see what he and Beverly's relationship is like, and how that sort of ended, what happened, where it went to. So I think that's great. We need to see Geordi. We know that he survived Mars, which was a small miracle. And then if you've read the books, Captain Worf and the Enterprise, like, who wouldn't want to see that as well? So, and there are a boatload of ship porn, as I like to call them, pictures in the trailer. So it's a little bit, it's a little too pixelated to really make it out, but I'm hoping for some more ship porn. And so I'm really excited about this and looking forward to it for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with you on all of that stuff. I want to see where stuff is going. Subrina, what about you?
Well, I really enjoyed the first season of Picard. I think it's really hard to write long form TV series, the arcing TV series. So you can actually write yourself into a box with your ending. And I think a lot of us kind of felt like, the show just took off and it was great. I loved it. And it kind of waffled there towards the end. But so I think what happens is when you don't have the slam bang ending to tie up a arcing series, people tend to say, I didn't like the series. You just didn't like the last episode. Because if we were going to say the same thing, like, would you say you don't like TOS because you don't like Turnabout Intruder? No. So, you got to take the whole thing. And I loved like 8.5 out of the 10 episodes. And the other 1.5 were like, okay, I'm good. I thought this series was, as we said back in the day when we were watching it so long ago, it was elegant. It was cerebral. I love the idea of examining what happens to a hero after everything is over and done. So I liked going in, since I'm looking at that time, my daggone self, I liked seeing this old man who had been, the arbiter of succession. He was everything. He was all that in a bag of chips. And now he's sitting on this plant, the planter. He's sitting in his vineyard. It's amazing. And I thought it was just really a very thoughtful Star Trek. And I loved it. I
like the word that you used there, elegant. That's like a perfect detail. Tamia, you look like you might want to chime in on that.
Oh, no, wait. I got to say what I'm looking forward to. Right?
Well, not if she wants to cut you off, you don't.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead, because you already took half of my stuff. So go ahead.
Oh, we still want to hear you say it, Tamia, though. We still want to hear you say it.
Go.
No, I want to hear what you're looking forward to, for real.
Well, you guys are all looking forward to the legacy characters coming in, and yeah, I am. But I want to build back on season 1 because I loved it. I want to know what happened to Raffi's son.
Okay, I'm going to cut her off now. She's going to start saying stuff that, like, she's reading my head. Whatever, Subrina.
This is great.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm not so interested in what happened from TNG. I'm just not. I want to go back to what had just happened. So I want to go back. I want to know what happened to the XBs. I mean, you just blew them all out into space. So I want to stay with season 1. I would love to have Geordi come back. But, quite frankly, if you didn't bring him back when Hugh was there, you don't need to bring him back now. Just forget about it. He's got his own thing going.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Okay, you need to stop talking now.
Don't do it now.
Wow.
She wants a whole episode about Ichib, don't you?
Right. No. Go ahead, Tamia. Tell them the rest of it.
Yeah, it was Geordi. And Geordi, hi, this is Tamia, and I have one message for you, and that is Geordi. The answer, boys and girls, is Geordi. Geordi on Picard. They missed it. They missed it with Hugh, and that was a big, Hugh's best friend.
Yeah,
it was Geordi, man. It was Geordi.
It's so true because I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either
until you said it. Now,
no, we were thinking about it. We were like,
the sisters were thinking about it.
Well, there was the whole thing with the Picard hug and all of that, and I was thinking, did he have a relationship with Picard? He did. But it was solely because of the fact that Picard had been Locutus before. That was the only real connection that the two of them had in that episode. Like you said, everything else was Geordi.
Mm-hmm. Everything that whole arc just didn't make sense to me. Like it felt like they were shoehorning something in, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to be mad at it. I mean, the story that they told was a good story.
Yeah.
You know, would I have liked it to have involved other people? Absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, I really enjoyed the first season of Picard because it is such a different type of storytelling than what we're used to in the Star Trek universe. And like Subrina said, it is more cerebral, is a little bit more literary in a way. And I was a bookseller for 15 years, right? So like I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed getting into. I thought what Picard does really well is character development, which I really miss in Discovery. It's a little bit more shallow, and it's only happening with a few characters in depth. But in Picard, you're getting that sort of development for every main character. You know, it's a smaller cast, you know, so you can do that. You have time to do that. You don't have as many people that you have to fit in to a scene. So I really enjoyed that about season 1. And I thoroughly enjoyed the moment when Seven became the Borg Queen. That moment of her being the Borg Queen. And I thought that was really tantalizing. And what I was hoping to see this season was a conflict with Seven having to assume that responsibility again and what that might do to her. But then I see we got, you know, I've already seen leaks of another Borg Queen. So I was like, well, there goes that hope dashed. But, you know, I really, I loved a lot of the characters on Picard. I love their complexity. I love that they are neither good nor bad. They're very gray. And they're struggling, just like normal humans are struggling to survive and learn every day and adapt to new situations and be better and recover from mistakes. You know, I think was Alison Pill's Dr. Girardi. I think Dr. Girardi is a perfect example of that, you know. So I'm excited to see what's happening in her story. And I'm excited to see what's happening with Raffi, who is pretty much my favorite character. Raffi, I love Rios, but Raffi's my girl. Yeah, I'm happy to see those legacy characters come back as well. You know, but I have one mandate to the writers of this show, and only one. And that is stop killing off all your Black representing characters in a matter of moments. I will be very happy, and Picard will shoot way higher up on my list if I saw that. That was infuriating to me the entire season. I mean, I can't even fake the funk about how infuriating that was. And it got in the way of my enjoyment of the show. You know, so I'm looking for better this season.
Well, and I'm glad that that's something that you bring up, because, you know, we don't want anyone listening to the show also to think that, you know, we're just here to pour on the praise. If there's stuff that we're taking issue with, we're going to bring it up, as long as, you know, as long as we're not doing it just to bash, you know. And that to me, it was not anything just to bash. That was good, well thought out criticism. And yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that 100%. Because I think we actually talked about it earlier with the Elnor's beheading there. So, you know,
exactly.
Yeah. So there's a couple things I want to circle back to that you mentioned, and I'm already forgetting what one of them was. But the first one is how you brought up how it's literary. And if I remember correctly, that's actually one of the things that the producers talked about when they started season 1, was that season 1 was going to be a book, and each episode was a chapter. And I thought that they did a real good job of that, you know, where you got through the episode, there was some closure to what the point of that episode was, but there was still that that overarching piece that you kind of got the little tease of a setup at the end to make you want to turn the page to the next chapter. And I did remember what the other thought was too, what you were saying about the character development. And you're right, smaller cast, they were able to do it. But, Nepenthe, I know, Mike, you talked about how that was your favorite episode of the season. And I was really enthralled by that episode too. But I think the thing that caught me the most by that episode was how well they developed Kestra, the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like a 50-minute episode, and I felt like you knew that girl from birth. It was just so well done, and that was really, she was the reason that I actually had some tears in that episode. Was it cool to see Riker and Troy? Yeah, it was, but she was top notch in that episode, and the way they developed her was real good.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the other piece of that episode that I really liked was Deanna telling Picard that he's doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like really, and she's speaking to her former captain, but now friend, and there's no rank involved, and she can just be blunt and say you're messing up here.
Yep.
So step it up. Yeah, she totally did, and it was needed. It was definitely needed.
Yep. All right, Jamie. I know that Patrick Stewart and Jean-Luc Picard are maybe just below your wife and your kids and your love affairs. So
it depends on what day of the week, I guess.
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
They're not listening, are they?
No.
No, they won't listen to this. Trust me. No, but I mean, as anybody who knows me, knows I love all Star Trek, but really Next Generation and, the original movies are really kind of like my comfort food, I would say, especially Voyage Home, which I'll talk about Voyage Home in a little bit. But, Next Generation to me, obviously, kind of to Mike's point, Mike Thurlow's point, it's just that's what I grew up on. That's home to me. That's my comfort food. And, when I think back to all the Star Trek series, TNG really was the most perfect representation of Gene Roddenberry's universe. It was, to me, the closest to perfection because, you had some issues in the original series, and then it got better with TNG, and then it kind of started getting a little darker as you started getting to Deep Space Nine and, some of the other shows. So obviously TNG is real special to me. But, talking about the first season of Picard, I really liked it because I really thought it was something that was unique and different, and a lot of people made comments that it really wasn't Star Trek because it was something very different and very unique that we had never seen before. And as I think about, my image of TNG being that perfect universe, I feel like Picard was as far away from perfection as TNG was. It was such a huge disparity, as opposed to some of the other shows where you really see these characters at some of their lowest points, Raffi with her addictions and, the idiosyncrasies of Dr. Girardi and, how Picard is really a broken, angry man. I really liked how there was a lot of meat on the bones in that show. The character development was absolutely incredible. And like I said, it was unique. It was something different. But what I think I want to see in season 2 is I kind of want to see them get a little closer back. I don't want to say back to the way TNG was, but I kind of want to see, them get a little closer to what Star Trek is in a lot of ways, back with the Federation and things like that, because I feel like obviously season 1 was a completely different concept. I want to see them kind of come a little closer to home. And, kind of looking at that trailer, I know I mentioned that Voyage Home is, one of my comfort foods as far as the movies go. When I watch that trailer, I kind of see the Voyage Home when I'm looking there. That fish out of water in the past, I saw that some of those sequences where, I wonder if that's going to be the overriding arc throughout the entire season is, them being in the past and, not knowing how to react in 21st century Earth. So I'm hoping to get some of that nostalgia of the voyage home when I see season 2 of Picard.
Nice. Yeah. Like you, that was the show that got me like on board with Star Trek. My dad had gotten me into it just before TNG premiered. So I had a little bit of an understanding, but TNG is what really got me to kind of sit down every week and want to watch something with my dad. But then it caused me to go back and watch more of the original series. So I was not one of the people that was hoping for a TNG season 8. I thought that if done right, having the legacy characters in there could be a good thing, as long as it wasn't done just for the sake of bringing them back to be on there, which is kind of what I feel happened with Hugh. Like, okay, we're on a Borg ship. Well, let's put one of the Borg ex-Borgs that we know on there. And it kind of felt like that.
I was going to say too, I really think that they were trying to get that nostalgia piece with, okay, we got Picard.
Mm-hmm.
What are, where can we go from an alien species wise? Because, when you think like Captain Kirk, you always think Klingons. Like that was like his arch rival, his nemesis. But when you think of like Picard, you're always thinking of the Borg. You got the movie's First Contact. That's the best TNG movie in most people's minds, right? That's, they got gold there. And then also, you got to think of like Romulans. That was always one of his huge arch nemesis, in TNG. So they were trying to bring in those elements that, would make it somewhat familiar, but also be different, and so, like you said, I loved the first season. I thought it was great, but I think kind of like to Sabrina's point, I think it kind of came flat at the end,
Right.
So I'm interested to see if they continue to build off of season 1 or if they just go in a completely different direction, because to me, from what it looks like in the trailer, they're going to go in a completely different direction. And we don't even know. It may be 2 or 3 years after the events of season 1. We don't know. Are they going to pick up right where they left off, or are they going to do it 3 years from now where these characters, maybe, we see a lot of Starfleet uniforms. Maybe they're back in Starfleet. We don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. The other thing about season 1, and you kind of touched on it too, Jamie, that I liked is everybody, I think, and Mike, you kind of brought it up too. Everybody looks at Picard as being someone that, they would follow into battle, no questions asked. And what we saw throughout season 1, almost until the very end, was a broken man, someone that needed to get some direction back in his life. And I think the flashbacks were done well enough for us to get the understanding as to why he is that way. Here was I guess you could call it a mission, but it was something that was near and dear to his heart that he was trying to get done to save people. Like he says in that interview, no, not Romulan people. I'm trying to help people. And he felt betrayed. And so at this point, everything that his ideals had stood for kind of were in the trash next to him. And he didn't know what to do. So so that was developed well. But go ahead. I know you've got a thought there. So,
well, no, I was thinking, because you did bring that up, that there's something missing there. How did he go from being so devoted to saving people to giving it up entirely and giving up Starfleet, where we've seen him in the past kind of go rogue and do things on his own, and so something made him not go that far and made him like retreat inside of himself in a lot of ways and go home and kind of be hurt and and hurt for almost 15 years. So there's that's still kind of a sort of a mystery, and I don't think that we're going to get the answer to that unless Sabrina in the back, please. Sabrina, speak up.
But if you read the book Picard, you know what happened. So
I've actually forgotten. Do you remember? Because
everyone in the lit verse, you need to. Well, yes. I mean, they talked about how they remember that he did save a lot of Romulans. He saved them, and they were all on Vashti, right?
Right.
And then the mission is canceled because of the Mars attack. And so he had done all this work leading up to saving like a planet full of people. I mean, Raffi lost her family trying to get this stuff done. You get the first boatloads over, and then something happens, and you snap off and say you're not going to do it. He was bold, you know what?
Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah,
that just snapped him. He couldn't believe it. And then when they took his resignation, and he didn't think they were going to take it.
Right.
He was done.
I was going to say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, I was just going to say, it's interesting how you see how Picard, how he's developed. Because, I was even thinking as we were having this discussion of even like Insurrection, how in that movie, he went against once again, the ideals of the Federation, where if you think of where Picard was when Next Generation first started, he would have never done that. But you see the logical progression of his character in a movie like Insurrection brings him, you know what I'm saying? Like if you had just seen TNG and didn't have the movies like First Contact, Insurrection, you wouldn't be able to see that next step to get him to where he is in Picard of just not having that purpose and not having that need. And just, that was the last straw, like that mission being called off where he just, Starfleet was not Starfleet to him anymore. Yeah. And his ideals were greater than Starfleet.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm hoping,
just let them die.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hoping to see, I think out of season 2 is, I mean, I got to say that as good a character development as there was in season 1, I feel like we haven't learned enough about Raffi yet. Like we know that she had we know she was this excellent strategic officer, someone high enough on the list where Picard, if you read the comics, talking about the Litverse, he trusted her to be a first officer to him. And then, she essentially loses everything. Like you said, Subrina, her family, but then like she said, she essentially lost her career as well. So it sent her off the deep end. And toward the end of the season, we see her coming back from all of that. I want to learn more about Raffi, the person, though. Who is she? What is it that makes her so devoted to Picard that she even remained loyal to him after, like, she thought he screwed her over? And I'm also, I mean, of course, I'm interested to see the direction that they're taking with this. I want to see what Q's doing. What's he doing to screw life up for all of these guys again? But I think overall, I also want to see out of season 2 that it continues what season 1 did, and that's go in a direction different from what Discovery does. And I'm not saying this as a bad thing, because I love Discovery, but every season of Discovery, it's, here's the major problem of the season that we need to face. And it's something, it's going to shatter the whole universe. Picard didn't do that last season. It was, this encompassed thing. It wasn't like it wasn't until the last couple episodes that, the universe could blow up.
Right.
So
was at stake eventually.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that one thing at the top that everyone was going for. So I hope that they continue that, because that kind of made it more enjoyable to me, that it wasn't the same thing as Discovery. It was something different. So we have Discovery, that we all love and enjoy here. And now we have Picard doing something different, and it's something that we can enjoy as well.
I like to think of Picard as kind of an adventure more than like, yes, the galaxy or the universe is at stake at some level, but it's more of an adventure. You're going along with this crew and with Picard and following Picard. Whereas Discovery is more of like a overarching, like end of the universe type thing happening, and it's very dramatic. And I think I agree. Like it's what was said before. It is elegant. It is literary. It is an adventure in my mind, and I'm ready to go on that adventure no matter what. Like it's a ride it's a roller coaster ride that I will take as many times as possible till the park closes. So,
what else is interesting?
Mike.
What I was going to say too. What else is interesting is it seems to be, of all the shows in the Star Trek universe, it's the most anti-Federation, anti-Starfleet show of all the shows. So like I said, you wonder if it's going to get back to some semblance of
old school Star Trek.
Yeah, old school. Like. Or what I mean is painting the Federation or Starfleet in a more positive light, because Picard really doesn't paint it in a positive light. Even Discovery, they were in the past, and that then they went to the future. It's once again getting that positive spin on the Federation. That's been the ultimate goal, in Discovery, and
that's always been Michael's opinion too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you just wonder where they're going to go with it.
Yeah, we do see a lot of Starfleet corridors in the trailer blowing up, and the La Serena is being chased by some Federation starships. So I don't know that we have a whole lot of hope to hold out that this is going to paint Starfleet in any better picture at the moment. What happens after maybe they fix whatever Q has done? Maybe that will have some impact that will drive Starfleet in a different direction. But
25th century, 32nd century, they still have rocks that come out of the ceiling when there's explosions on ships.
What are carrying all those rocks around all the time?
I'd like to take a moment to talk about Fansets, the presenting sponsor of the Trek Geeks podcast network.
Fansets is the home of amazing pin collectibles. The quality of the merchandise they put out is second to none. It's not just Star Trek that they offer, as they have something for every type of fandom out there. Scooby-Doo, DC Comics, Batman 66, Harry Potter, and Rick and Morty, and so many more.
Fansets also recently released the microcrew version of Lower Decks Tom Paris, and one of my favorite things, the Tom Paris collector's plate. So keep an eye out for those items on fansets.com, as well as their over 400 officially licensed Star Trek pins, including the Delta's Done Right collection, as well as microcrew pins, episode pins, and many other great designs. So go to fansets.com and put a whole bunch of pins in your cart.
As a listener to the show, you can receive 10% off your next order from Fansets by using the code DiscoveringTrek at checkout. And remember that you receive free shipping in the U.S. on orders of $30 or more.
Fansets. Our pins have character.
So whoever would like to jump in here, anything from the trailer? I know we've touched on it a little bit here and there as we talked about our hopes for season 2, but is there anything from the trailer that stood out to you as being interesting? You want to learn a little bit more about what's going on there?
Yes. I have a thing. Yes, I have a thing that I don't know in the big, like sort of like one of the second or third shot of the trailer. I mean, maybe not that early because I don't remember. It's early in the trailer. And there's the picture that we see of the ship in battle of Enterprise, the Enterprise in battle. I love that. I mean, I have not yet like frozen the frame on that to study that. And that's the most, I mean, outside of Guinan, that is the most intriguing part of the trailer to me.
See, Tamia, I thought you were going to say you saw Geordi in the background somewhere in the trailer. That's where I thought you were going with this.
I'm tired, but I'm not hallucinating yet.
I'm right there with you, Tamia. I thought that painting reminded me of the painting of the Enterprise in the Enterprise D ready room. And so there's definitely something about that is really intriguing. And I cannot wait to see what comes out of that. But I haven't frozen the screen either, so I have no idea. But
did you freeze the screen, Subrina?
I froze the screen.
Okay, so what did you see?
Borg cubes.
Really?
Oh.
Well, I didn't notice that. Wow.
Bunch of them.
Oh boy.
wow.
Well, we do know from press releases that there is a Borg queen in this.
Yes.
So the Borg are somehow tied into this season.
Big time.
I feel like we've seen them pull her out of like a freezer or something, like almost like at the Daystrom Institute, where they kind of revive her to find out. I don't know. Maybe I'm making this all up. Maybe this is all headcanon. I don't know, but
No,
that's okay.
Something you're saying is that's ringing some kind of bell with me too. But
I think they had to resurrect her.
But...
Yeah, they resurrected her to find out that there was something in time, right? That happened.
Yeah,
or something like that.
She says reality has been broken. I thought that was her, but maybe it was Seven that said that.
Yeah, you really kind of wonder, there's going to be some sort of alternate reality type thing going on, alternate universe, whether it's, and this is something that Q is always good for. Like we think of Tapestry and things like that, and he makes the comment of the road less traveled, so you just kind of wonder, are we going to see some sort of mirror universe? Or are we going to see some sort of, they obviously have to go back in time to fix it, because you see him back in the 21st century. So, what is happen there? What is causing that all to come crashing down?
Oh, and I saw, and I know a lot of people brought this up online too when it came out. Brent Spiner is in the trailer, and he's not looking like Data or any Brent Spiner character we've seen before. He just looks like Brent Spiner, so is he a Soong relative?
That's what I thought. I was like, he's yet another Soong.
Another Soong.
Man's
like 21st century Soong.
Yeah.
Well, remember he was in Enterprise, so he was, he played a Soong.
Oh, that's true. In the 22nd century.
Anik Soong, yes.
What'd you say, Subrina?
Anik Soong, yes.
Yeah, he's Anik Soong's father, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or grandfather.
There were two Datas. Do you remember? Don't you remember in the trailer?
Oh no, I missed that.
One that looked kind of old, and then there was the one that looked kind of like Lore.
Oh,
really?
Oh,
ooh.
It was the crazy looking. He looked like
I'm gonna have to go back and look at this again now.
Listen, you know what you got to do. I'm gonna tell you all right now what to do. You just slow it down to 25% of the speed and watch it slow. You get everything.
Nice. You heard it here first.
Even the Geordi in the background.
Turn the sound off because they go talk like this. You don't want to do that. You can see it all.
So I mentioned that I'm hoping to see more from Raffi in this season.
And you were not alone, my friend.
Agreed.
I'm a little bit nervous because in one of the first scenes that we see in the trailer, she is slumped over Elnor. And I'm hoping that it's not just another hit Raffi for her emotions. Her and Seven kind of took him on as like their surrogate son. He replaces Raffi's real son, and he replaces Icheb for Seven. So, I mean, I really hope that that's not the case. We'll have to see. But from the quarter of a second, if it was even that you saw of it, it didn't look good the way she was slumped over him.
No,
so
he's in bad shape.
So we'll have to see what's happening there.
Yeah,
I
think even
trailer, he's in again.
I did see him later in the trailer.
Sword.
He had his sword, right? So, hey, maybe it's that alternate reality. Who knows?
I'm counting on alternate
what
reality.
I'm looking forward to in Raffi's story is I think a lot of us are rooting for her in the way that when she does get hit with the emotional traumas that are going to affect all the characters, that her battle with her addiction doesn't win, that her life has gained some more purpose, and that she sees, is feeling so differently, that and a lot stronger, going through some more positive experiences that give her and having more chosen family connection that lend her a lot more support to get through these moments without having to turn to a mood altering substance.
Yeah.
Seven's there. Seven will help
very much.
And there's always cake.
There's always cake is eternal.
Always cake.
Crossing the stream, but cake is eternal.
That's right.
I really like two things that Guinan said in the trailer. I believe one final frontier is yet to come.
Mm-hmm.
And the answers aren't not in the stars.
Yeah.
So
and they never were.
And they never were.
Yeah. Right. So I think when we talk about how this is more like the literary Trek version of Star Trek on TV, I like that. Guinan always provides these great deep thoughts that you can think about and act on, and on multiple levels, and it can apply to multiple characters. So I'm really excited for that, and to see what wisdom and perspective she gets to impart. And I hope that she's in more than one episode. I hope it's not just a short little scene with.
I have a theory on that.
All right,
but you'll have to wait till predictions.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, though, going on your same wavelength, I mean, we did see her in Time's Arrow, right? We saw her in the past.
Right.
So I'm wondering if they're going to try to bring her in that 21st century, if she's going to be there,
Oh, yeah.
Because we see her in the future, obviously, when she's talking
Still
to
on the
older
West
Picard,
Coast.
but
right.
But you wonder if she's going to be some sort of, and I don't want to, I hate, but that wizard type character trope, the
Oracle from Matrix,
the Oracle,
or something.
the wizard, the one with all the knowledge that guides you in the correct direction,
omniscient
Got another word for that, but
you wonder if she's going to have both roles,
Well, and she, that made me think, Jamie, of yesterday's Enterprise. Like, she recognized the changes in the timeline, and couldn't put her finger on it, but she said something just doesn't feel right. And so, hopefully maybe this is also her doing that as well.
She can't play the wizard, Jamie, because her hat is too flat. All right. It's got to be a different name.
She can be the Oracle. But yeah, I think Picard has to go to someone like that, has to go outside to get a perspective like that. And who better to provide that than Guinan?
The wise one. Definitely. So the only other thing that I had written down was we see that it looks like Seven is breaking Rios out of some kind of confinement. And it definitely looks like it's in the past, because it looks like it's on like a jail transport. So, knowing Rios as we know him from last season, what kind of crap did he get himself into?
And it seems like it's only him. So
yeah, exactly.
Because it's Seven and Raffi breaking him out of there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't see. Okay. Yep. I know where you're coming from with that now. I'm putting 2 and 2 together in the trailer. So okay.
I look
different scenes in the trailer, but as I think about it now, I see where you're coming from exactly.
Together, right.
Yep.
I don't know, man. This whole thing is what is going on?
Well, I know one thing that I'm hoping for is that 2024 is predicted to be a much better year than the last couple that we've gotten. So the world better be better in 2 years from now than it is currently.
Well, are they going to be talking about COVID when they're there?
Oh my God. But this is the alternate reality 2024, right? So we don't care what's really going on.
Could be.
It's gonna be. I don't know what this is. But I was intrigued also that 7 of 9 kept looking like Borg 7 of 9, and then never been to Borg 7 of 9. So like she had the IP, she didn't have the IP. She had the IP, she didn't have the IP. So I was like,
good point.
So
what's going on here?
I just wonder if maybe they're trying to say that she never got captured by the Borg. If that's a part of this alternate reality that Annika Hansen never got captured. Because of something in the past.
So that makes her not miss nanite loaded whatever when they go back. Like they're always like, oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, we got some nanites because they got 7.
Right, we'll pull them out of 7.
Use that one, right? You're gonna have to think of something else.
Well, and I don't think it was this trailer, but I think it might have been the little piece that they showed on Star Trek Day last year. Astute observers noticed when she was looking in the mirror and didn't have the eyepiece that she was wearing a wedding ring too. So what's going on there?
Oh,
yes. I never heard that one.
Because
I missed that.
She reached up to touch her face where the eyepiece was, and you could see a band. People online were going crazy and screen capping it. Oh, I saw it for at least a month after that came out. So,
okay. That's what I was about to say.
It better not be.
They do that 7-inch Cote thing.
Oh, that was the worst. It better not be that.
Oh my God!
Listen, Chakotay says he'll be on Prodigy. He didn't say he'd be on Picard.
He's trying to get away from the diviner. We're not going to bring him into this.
Good Lord!
I'm just saying.
Right.
The one other character that I'm excited to see, who I loved and didn't get enough of. I mean, she was introduced in the comic, the Countdown comic, and then we get to see her in the first episode. Laris, I love Laris. She's the sarcastic Romulan, but also just in the same way that I mentioned earlier that Deanna gives it to Picard and tells him he's being a bad father figure or whatever. Laris just calls him out on his BS right away. So love that. Love her.
And I think that's why everyone latched onto her as a character right away and were pissed when we didn't see her after, what was it?
Absolutely.
Episode 2?
Yeah. Right. So once they left Earth, that was
yeah, that's a great point, Mike. I hope we get to see more of her.
She's in this trailer a bit. So
she is. Yeah. I just hope it's not like one episode and the one and done like first season. I hope she plays more of a central role in this season.
Well, her husband's not with her. It's just her. So.
Right.
Yeah, no Zebon.
That was weird.
Zebon, he's not there.
Yep. I don't know if they're they're partners though. I forget what the comic said about them there. I don't know that they're married, but I think they're
just assumed.
Yeah.
I don't know. They sure acted
like she was married to him.
That's what I was saying. She sure you can go die with him. It sounds like something a wife would say to a husband.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Go take him with you.
My wife has totally told me you can go be stupid somewhere else.
She called him. She said, "Oh, he doesn't know anything. He's from the north."
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah, there's a little bit of Romulan racism in there, right?
That's just the wife calling him out. She's just, I'll bet money she's married to him.
Absolutely.
The only thing when we talked about character development, I think that we only saw a really little bit of Elnor and his development, and I'm curious.
That's true.
I'm curious what they're going to do with him. I mean, he is, he's basically 18, an 18-year-old with a sword and sworn to Picard, but I would like to see some growth in his character this season for sure.
That's very true, because we look at him like an adult because of the fact that he wields a sword, almost in the same way that I think at the beginning of Prodigy, people looked at Rok-Tahk as an adult because of her size.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them are still really kids, even though they have these larger than life roles.
Deadly, but they're kids.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, because everybody's talking about a character they want to see developed. I kind of want to see Girardi developed. And I'll say, if you think about it, she basically kills somebody in season 1 and the season ends. So it's like, where does that leave her? Like, is she going to have to pay for those? I know, she was under the influence and all that other stuff, but I mean, where does that leave her character?
Absolutely.
The fact that she basically killed the man that she loved, right.
What does that do to her emotionally?
Yeah. What does that do to her psyche? And where is she when season 2 begins?
And I will say, she was probably my favorite character from season 1. Just because of I don't want to say the oddity factor, but she was different from everybody else. And it was intriguing to me. So yeah, I agree, Jamie. I want to see more of her too. I want to see more of everybody. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, she's almost kind of like that Tilly from season 1.
Yeah.
That kind of that.
There you go. Yeah.
The oddball. You know what I mean? But kind of represents a large group of the population. She's got some of those idiosyncrasies and things like that.
See, I have to be a dissenter here. She's my least favorite character on this show. To be honest with you,
Pink slip.
I just did not like her. I did not identify with her. Once she killed Bruce Maddox, I thought that that was kind of how do you come back from that, even if you were programmed by a mind meld.
Romulan.
But I just didn't. I didn't really vibe with her character.
You know what made her stick out to me? It was Alison Pill. It was her portrayal of her was so riveting. Like, she made that character interesting.
Phenomenal acting. Yeah. Phenomenal acting.
Phenomenal. And you couldn't, I could not look away from her when she was on screen. I didn't want to be that intrigued by her, because I too was upset with her. Like, oh my God, here's the mole right here, and you just killed the love of your life. And, but I mean, man, did she really bring it when she was playing that character. And so I'm kind of with Jamie, like, there's a lot of complexity, a lot of layers going on with her. I'm interested to see, and I would like to see Rios developed more, because I feel like his character is really flat. I felt like there was a lot of reliance on all the holograms to explain Rios and who he is, but we really didn't get to know him, and maybe that's part of the journey with him is getting through those defenses that he's put up.
Could be
for anybody getting close to him again, we
just know what happened to him. We don't know.
Right.
Maybe that is why I liked Girardi so much. It was probably Alison Pill's portrayal, because you're right. As a character during the season, she's not really likable.
Oh God, she was
But
annoying.
But the portrayal was really good. So
what did Raffi,
maybe that's what it
Raffi
was.
say? You just get to come on the ship with your little
blue coat.
With your little blue coat.
So great. All right, everybody.
Love the two of them together, yeah. Raffi and Girardi. That was...
Come with Auntie Raffi.
Yeah,
Get some cake.
Yep. All right, everybody. So let's throw down the gauntlet. Where are we going to be wrong this season with our predictions? Because hey,
I feel like we've given like 30 predictions throughout this whole discussion.
Potentially. I'll tell you what. I will go first here to throw it all down. So I mentioned Guinan. I think we're going to see a lot of Guinan in this season. It was mentioned in the trailer, and actually we've already talked about it a little bit, that she has an understanding of time that's different from humans. We talked about yesterday's Enterprise. She was in Time's Arrow. So there's those connections of the past, the future, alternate time. I feel like she's going to be the linchpin that keeps the crew on the right track. There's a line that Picard says in the trailer: I know somebody that understands time differently than everybody else does. And then we flash to him going to her bar. So I feel like that she's gonna be like their ground rod, so to speak, for this season. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's some kind of issue, it's going to come back to what kind of wisdom can she give them to help them along the journey.
Plus, she lives long enough that she would be back in the other time,
right?
So they could still see her there.
Mm-hmm. And I do feel like we will all watch episode 1 on March 3rd, and you're going to be laughing at me because I will have been 1,000% off, but whatever. That's what I took from it.
All right. I'm going to go with my bold prediction next. So I feel that, or I think that the Borg will be the cause of the issue in the past. And, because I'm kind of hearkening back to First Contact when they went back to Earth trying to stop the whole mission, the whole First Contact with the Vulcans. I feel like the Borg are going to be the reason why the timeline is messed up. And also the whole Q element too. I mean, you think of Q as the first person to introduce the Borg to the Federation. Ooh. So, right. I mean, there's some connection there. And then one other bold thing, I love the comics as far as the Next Generation characters in the Mirror Universe. And we've never seen it in live screen. I would love to see Jean-Luc Picard in the Mirror Universe goatee. that we've seen in comics and books, but we've never seen in live action. We've seen it in every other show, but not in Next Generation.
We know somebody in the Mirror Universe needs to be goateed. That's just a requirement.
Yeah.
All right. Who's not going to be afraid to share how wrong they're going to be as the season goes on?
I'll go next because I have several predictions.
I knew it.
It's so wrong, but I just sitting there. Tamir and I, we are. You're the writer, Tamir, but I am learning to be a writer, and I was just thinking about this whole thing. And I watched this trailer 3 times. I watched it 3 times. Once slow, twice regular speed. And the thing that got me was that she said, Q told him, you're going down the road not traveled. And everybody wants to go back to First Contact. I was like, nah, we ain't going back to First Contact. We're going back to the thing that Picard did that set this whole freaking stuff into motion.
Yep.
He sent Hugh back. I think the road that is going to be traveled is that he does not send Hugh back, or he screws Hugh up. We go into a complete war with the Borg, like for frickin' ever. And
He was screwed up when he got sent back.
he doesn't send Hugh back. That's the what they. She said it was. You did one thing. One thing can make all the difference. He didn't send him back. That's my prediction.
Oh, you're blowing my mind. I'm glad I'm wearing a hat because it's containing it.
Don't even buy that First Contact. They want you to go, oh, yeah, it's First Contact. It's First Contact. I'm here to tell you it's not First Contact. It's Hugh. So, and that's why Hugh was in first season.
Can I just jump in here and say
ahead.
that no,
Geordie's going to be there.
Sabrina, Geordie's
going to bring Hugh back.
A surprise visit through the continuum of time. Somehow Guinan is going to really be a fully realized magical Negro and bring Geordie back.
Go on, girl. When you talk about wizard and everything, you saw Tamia and me just laugh. I said, yeah, we got another word for that.
I love it. I love
Negro.
it.
Please don't make her the magical Negro. Can she help somebody else besides some white people in this? Bring some black people in here and help the whole freaking world, please. Thank you.
And so I cede the rest of my prediction time to my fellow from Bethesda, Sabrina Wood.
I got so many. All right. You know what Q gave Soong? Here's what I'm going to tell you. You were right, Jamie. You said he looked kind of like a messed up, he didn't look like a regular, Soong, whatever. He was just like old and he was gray. I don't think he's like the brilliant guy. I think, okay, here's my whole theory. The kid that was getting mind melded is Soong. And Q gives him smart water. That's what's in the little bullet. He makes him smart. He's smart.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I see.
Okay. All right.
Well, this is really taking a turn.
Who's the kid that's getting mind melded, right?
Right.
You want me to blow your mind some more? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to blow your mind one more time.
Oh, man.
Only one more.
One more time. It wasn't a Vulcan. The mind meld was a Romulan.
Oh, no.
Boom.
Oh, wow.
Killed me.
Why would we have Vulcans in this at all? The First Contact is the Romulans. The Romulans make First Contact in this alternate universe. That's why everything is screwed up. That's why they're militaristic. That's why they got a grid around the world. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
Wow. Dang.
That is some next level stuff.
Right.
I'm telling you, I was like, this is some crazy stuff I'm seeing. Oh my God.
Well,
wow.
I think we're going to have to retire the predictions piece and just call it the Sabrina Wood section of the show.
You didn't see all that in that trailer. You didn't see all that.
I did, but I didn't make all those connections. That's all.
They always mess with you and they give you some piece of something and they make you assume that something. I said, that man didn't really look. And I could give you more, but I'm not going to do it. You need to go back and watch that trailer yourself. Take it down to slow speed. You'll see everything.
Oh, I love this.
Okay, right there. I had those were some really wild ones. Okay, when the show happens and none of that happens, erase this.
Or all of it happens, and we're like, what?
I know, we're like,
And the producers are calling us up saying, where can we get Sabrina's number? We got to find out how she got in our room.
Get in the writer's room. Can you? I want a job.
If you can get in the writer's room, maybe all the black people won't die.
They didn't have any black people in the trailer. Where were the black people except for Guinan?
I saw Guinan. She was and Rafi.
Yeah, Rafi. Okay. Stop it. Okay, stop it, Sabrina. There were black people. So yeah, those are my predictions. I got some more too. I was sitting there at work today, and I said, "Oh my God, Mike is going to ask me something," and I was like trying to figure this out, and I came up with that.
That's awesome, though. I'm loving that.
That is amazing. Wow.
So, Mike, can you top that, or can you even come close to equaling that?
So my prediction is not. It's It's Star Trek universe based, okay? So we talk about how these shows are all interconnected. So one of the key things about Picard is the attack on Mars, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2385. Prodigy is happening in 2384. There is a rogue program on the protostar. Maybe it doesn't affect the starships. Maybe it affects the androids in Mars, and that is how that all happened.
Boom! Oh,
I don't know.
Wow.
Top score, Sabrina, but that is like next
like
level,
it.
like Star Trek universe.
Mike, you and me, baby.
I think-
okay.
I think Mike Bovia caught some flies in his mouth because his mouth was open so wide.
Man.
Mine was too.
I thought of this last week. I don't know what it was. After I watched the Prodigy finale, and I was like, I read the article from one of the writers. I forget what Johnson sent me an article. I read it, and he was like 2384, and I was like 2384. That's a year. They're gonna make it back to Starfleet. Gwyn doesn't remember what's on the ship. What if it doesn't make Starfleet attack one another? What if it just affects, because the big unexplained thing for me in this show has been what caused the attacks on Mars. Like, for me, that has been a central piece of this, because it's essentially what causes Picard to kind of crumble. I mean, that just tears him down, tears all the plans down, breaks Starfleet, does all these things, and the way that also the lead time on Prodigy, right? So this all sort of works out that they were planning Prodigy long before they announced it, but also Picard was in development at that time. So I'm thinking that this is where we're going to see in Prodigy at some point, that program being the one that causes the accidents, the attacks on Mars. So,
Oh, brother.
Tamia, now I know why you don't like making predictions, because I feel like mine is so insignificant right now.
I'm telling you, man, predictions
Oh,
are
man.
not my business. Predictions are not my game.
Like,
well, Sabrina and I will remember you all when we're in the Star Trek writers' room for
Okay, thank you. You
for
remember
like
the
the,
little
like
people?
get us
for the
get us
10th
tickets.
live action series that we're writing. Whatever happens after Section 31 and Starfleet Academy, we're working on the show that's after that. So
Okay, remember us little people, please.
we'll invite you all. You'll be our guest at the premiere of
That's
our
what I'm
show.
talking about, baby.
Hey,
that's how you
that's-
roll. That's how
that's
we
right.
need to roll.
That's all I want.
I want permanent entourage status.
We
There
can
you go.
have the party that we had at Las Vegas right on the red carpet.
Oh yeah. Oh
Every
yeah.
time I make predictions, though, they're so wrong.
Yours,
what, though? You know
you're. It's scary how real yours could be. I mean, that is freaking
yours
brilliant.
too, Mike. Yours
Yeah.
too. I mean,
I like Mike.
I'll tell you what. If the
Uh-oh.
predictions the two of you made are wrong, you could write some awesome fanfic based off of those predictions.
No joke. And I would read it.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. Well, everybody, I hope that it has been a wonderful preview of the craziness that's in store for discovering Trek Picard. We don't know exactly what direction we're headed with Jean-Luc and the rest of the La Serena crew, but we do know that you can find us each week breaking it all down here on Discovering Trek. To close out, I'll quote Jean-Luc Picard from season 1. To be alive is a responsibility as well as a right. Until next time, never stop discovering.
Music for Discovering Trek is provided by 5 Year Mission. They're writing an original song for each episode of Star Trek. Hear more of their music at 5yearmission.net. Discovering Trek is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.